Woof woof. Woof woof. Woof. Hello and welcome to Lumin Weekly. There isn't really a cool intro or anything this week, but we do have a lot of questions to look at. You guys did leave a lot of questions for my free-for-all theme. I'm going to have another theme set up at the end. I'll tell you what you can ask questions about at the end of this episode. And if you ask questions that aren't about that, I'll probably answer them anyway. It doesn't really matter, but I thought I'd just give you guys a bit of direction this week. So, firstly, I just wanted to talk about the vlog thing. I asked about the video lengths and the amount of videos I was uploading, and it seems like you guys don't really care, like, in a good way. I mean, it's like most of you just say you'll watch it anyway, and I think because of that, I'll probably just vary it a bit, you know. I think like some of the Mothgirl episodes will probably end up being longer most of the time because you can't really make that too short. Things like Beyond Good and Evil and Portal might be a bit shorter. Some of the StarCraft games might be shorter. But hey, I'm just gonna sort of carry on doing what I'm doing. And about the amount of stuff I'm uploading, it's like, you know, if I've got stuff to upload, I'm gonna upload it. If you don't want to watch it, I keep saying that. If you don't want to watch anything, it takes one click to close it. And it's probably better if I just upload a lot of stuff because it'll just give all the guys that want to watch a lot something to watch, and you can just come back to it later if you want to. And I will eventually set up some playlists on my channel. It's not that hard setting it up. The main thing is just that if I do set it up now, the thing is at the moment it's easier if you can see the recently uploaded videos, because then you can just come back and check what you've missed. Whereas with playlists, I've spoken to a few people and they find it a little bit confusing. Like, you know, you have to actually go into the playlist to see what was uploaded recently there, and I don't know, whatever, doesn't really matter. Let's get to the questions. Okay, so Dan Porn asked, I think it's just pronounced Dan Porn, PWN. Okay, that's Helene over there, look, she's got a hoodie on. Anyway, he asked, what do you do for a living? And we've got this like in every single episode so far. And then he also asks, do I make money from the YouTube stuff, and if I do, how can he get money from that sort of thing? That's a very interesting question right there. But I don't really do very much to make money. I said like 1,000 times already what I do. You can check the other videos, so I'll just answer the second part there. I don't make money from YouTube videos at the moment. I make a little bit of money from like AdSense on my website. I told you what my website was. It's mitan.co.za, and that's like a very little bit of money, but nothing from YouTube yet. You actually need to be a partner for that, and I'm not a partner at the moment. So if you want to make money from this sort of thing, you'd have to make a YouTube channel and put out some really great content, get a lot of subscribers, and actually, I don't know, get that done. Anyway, next, Fragula. What, if any, steps are you taking to get your channel more recognized in the gaming world, like approaching big names, Husky, Day9, HD, because I'd like to see your channel do well and keep making pulse. I'm going to keep making pulse anyway. This is something I've chosen to do now, and I'm going to stick with it. Steps that I can take? It's tough. Like, I've actually tried to speak to all those guys before. I know that some of them have seen my episodes. I'm not sure about Day9. I know HD has seen some of my episodes before, and he actually commented and liked and whatever. I think that Total Biscuit has liked my videos before. It's like these people, they've seen them, but they don't really... I don't know if it's just elitism or if it's that they don't want to be too like easy with giving away any help or anything like that. Or I can't really explain it myself, okay? I have approached all of those guys. I've asked them about different things, like if they can do stuff with me, if they can help me out, if I can do stuff for them, basically everything. I've asked everything that I can, and I just don't really get replies from them. More often than not, I get like some sort of manager or secretary, I suppose I could call it secretary, and I don't really get much from it. So they just sort of brush me off with that. Otherwise, I mean, there are lots of steps I can take, which I am taking. I post on various forums, not too much to be annoying. I post on Reddit. I spam on a few IRC channels, mostly local ones. And like, I think the main thing is just to make good content and hope for the best. I can't really do anything else. And obviously, every time you guys leave a comment, like a video, favorite stuff, it helps me out, because then the people who are either your friends or are subscribed to you or whatever, then they see that and it might just get cross traffic, stuff like that. So anyway, that's pretty much it. DB Zor asks, have you ever thought of changing your stream, I assume he means channel, into something similar to what Total Biscuit does, where he does game reviews? I also assume he means the WTF is series. Since I play a lot of single player games, I don't really play very many single player games. I just started recently playing like 1 or 2, and that was just to make videos. Or encouraging local South African programmers into making games. So like, I would like to do stuff like that, more first impression videos, but you got to keep in mind that that would cost money, and I don't really have very much money to just throw around. With someone like Total Biscuit, he's making lots of money from his YouTube. He can probably afford to buy games, a lot of games. People send him games to review, stuff like that. And so he can afford it. At the moment, I can't really afford that kind of thing. I'd love to do something like that. I'd gladly do a first impressions video on any game that they give me or that I get my hands on, but I'm not really a big fan of pirating games or anything like that, so I think it's wrong to put videos up of that kind of thing. If you want to actually review a game or something, it's probably better if you buy it yourself. So I would like to do that, and as far as South African, I would like to do that, but I don't really have the means to do it now. As far as South African programmers and game developers go, I know a few of them and I've spoken to a few of them, but like, there's just too few. At the moment, I know of 1 or 2 really good game developers in South Africa, and they don't really put out content or games very regularly, so there's not very much to look at. If local guys send me their games to look at, I'll do it. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Chuck, I nearly missed Chuck's question. Chuck, you mentioned holding thumbs, which I assume is the same as US's crossing your fingers, and yes, it's exactly the same. It's just sort of wishing for luck. And then he says, I mentioned in my previous video, getting along like a house on fire, and he asks what that is. And then he also says that in the US they've got nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs, which means very nervous, of course. So getting along like a house on fire just means having a good relationship with someone, or like sort of getting along with them. I don't know why it's supposed to, why a house on fire. I just know that's the expression. Okay, I'm not really good with these things. Divine asked, what kind of music do I myself and Eileen listen to? Favorite bands, artists, etc. I think I've said before, I listen to sort of anything. I listen to like absolutely anything from rock stuff to pop to like Japanese stuff to instrumentals to like whatever. It varies greatly. My favorites are probably, I like Linkin Park a lot, and now my nose is itching. I like Linkin Park a lot. Hoobastank, amazing. 30 Seconds to Mars are okay. Some of their stuff is a little bit, yeah, but I like 30 Seconds to Mars, yes. Incubus is cool. I listen to Katy Perry, yes I do. I listen to a lot of music, different stuff. Eileen, I think she listens to a lot of Muse recently. She listened to a lot of Marilyn Manson a long time. She listens to more hardcore stuff usually than me. But yeah, so I don't know. Recently I've not really been listening to much music at all. So, and then Ball, what is the most embarrassing thing you've ever done? And he says this one should be interesting. Sadly, it's not going to be. I don't know. I don't really get embarrassed very easily. And in like my the cognizant part of my life, maybe when I was younger I did embarrassing stuff that I got embarrassed about, but in the last like 10 years or something, I don't know, I just don't remember anything that's embarrassing. Maybe it's just because I don't really get out very much, but I don't, sorry, nothing there. NHL Ox, I think that's how you say that nickname. Where do you live? Because he asks that because we spoke about the South African art priority in Helene's questions last week. I live in South Africa. We live in the Western Cape in South Africa, and that's why they prioritize South African history and art history in the university, and that wasn't very fun for Helene. So yeah, that's where we live. Polar Fluke or just Fluke asks, what games are you looking forward to for the remainder of this year? And there are a lot of them which I probably won't be able to remember now. Diablo 3 is obviously first to come to mind. Hopefully that comes out this year. Guild Wars 2, that looks really cool. Skyrim, that looks like a lot of fun. I don't know if I'm going to look forward to Duke Nukem and that kind of thing. It's like a mixed bag for me. There's a lot of cool... Rage, you know, I'm looking forward to Rage. That's by id Software, if you didn't know. You know, there's a few games. I just don't really think of them. I can't think of them right now. And then Mr. Carlsink asks, when it comes to the Resident Evil series, which is his favorite, Mr. Carlsink, that's a good choice. It was a nice series. Where do you stand on the last 2 games to come out? That's 4 and 5 compared to the previous ones. 5 was absolutely terrible. That game was so bad. We tried to play it single player on the PlayStation, the demo. It was bad. We tried to play it co-op already once. It was terrible. The game is just bad. The control scheme is bad. I feel that the game could have been good if they didn't make the control scheme as terrible as it was. It just didn't feel like Resident Evil anymore. I don't know. You couldn't move and shoot at the same time. It just felt like you kept getting stuck in places you shouldn't have. The camera was terrible. And I feel that like Resident Evil 2 was probably my favorite. I played that a lot. My sister used to have it on PlayStation. But I do prefer the older ones. That's basically all I can say. The older ones are a lot better, and that's sort of a trend nowadays. They don't really know how to make games anymore, do they? Then from the dark, will Duke Nukem bomb or be successful? I think it'll be moderately successful. It won't be anything special, nothing game-changing. It is Duke Nukem, so there's going to be a lot of hype, and I don't think it's going to be like amazing. That's pretty much all I can say. Scrolling up, RoboCop the Jedi. Did you play Command & Conquer Red Alert 2 and Yuri's Revenge? And don't you hate what EA did to Westwood? So yes, I played Red Alert a lot. That was one of the first strategy games I played like semi-competitively, like on LAN at I went to an internet cafe a lot when I was younger, to LAN there with my own computer, and we played a lot of that. Red Alert 2 was probably the most played game there. And what EA did to Westwood, like, I don't really know very much about that. I know EA bought Westwood and then they liquidized them or something, but I think they bought them for a lot of money. So, personally, sure, they would have maybe made better games if they had stayed alone and not sort of succumbed to that. Who knows, maybe they were going bankrupt anyway. I don't know much about it. But the chances are the Westwood guys left happy, because I think that they sold Westwood for a big amount of money. And then after they sold it, as far as I remember, like, the Westwood guys all left anyway. So I don't know, I'm pretty indifferent about that. It's not really a big deal to me. MMO Tomaz asks, if Blizzard suddenly invested in a weekly talk show on a gaming radio station or TV show, and they offered you a position as the show's host or commentator, would you A, crap your pants, B, dance with your dog, C, squeal like a girl, or D, all of the above? I'd probably do D, all of the above at the same time, because that would be absolutely amazing. I don't know if Blizzard's sort of gonna ever move into that direction, but they are doing a lot more social media stuff. You've heard about the Titan MMO where they're gonna try integrate it with Facebook and all that stuff. How terrible would that be? The camera's not that great this week, is it? I should have been a bit higher up. Anyway, at least you got Helene in the shot right here. Makes up for it. Okay, Dranor Starcraft asks, what's the first Blizzard game you played? I think I played Warcraft 1, Orcs and Humans, when it just after it probably came out like a long time ago. I played it like in the 90s, but not very much. I played it like a little bit, and then the first game I played properly was probably Diablo 1. I mean, I played Warcraft 2, I played all the other games. I didn't play Lost Vikings. I mean, I played Lost Vikings way afterwards, but that was just to like sort of look at what it was. I played a lot of Diablo 1, that was the most, but I did play, the first one's probably Warcraft 1. And then the last question, Bottled Water is Good, asks, what's your most anticipated class in Diablo 3? I think I've answered this a lot. Probably Monk and Wizard. Demon Hunter seems okay, but Monk and Wizard are probably top for me. Will you be casting Diablo 3 PvP matches? I'll try. I don't think I'll be able to do like the uber super fast play-by-play commentating, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to understand the whole theory crafting aspect behind it. Theory Diabloing. Anyway, I'll do that, yes, I probably will. I hope that the PvP takes off, that you can have the whole PvP and PvE aspects behind the game. It'll make it even more fun. And yeah, I probably will do that. That's pretty much it. Okay, so that was the end of the questions. Now, for the next week's theme, I was going to try something like just make it South Africa. So, where I live. Basically, we live in South Africa, myself and Eileen, and Nero. He lives here too. And most of my family at least. So you can ask pretty much anything. You can ask about sort of the town that we live in. We live close to the sea. You can ask about the sea. You can ask about the creatures that you can ask about the animals that live here. You can ask about what the other countries, how they feel about South Africa, because I know a lot of countries have sort of the wrong idea of what life is like down here. I just spat. Terrible. Anyway, you can ask about political stuff. I don't know much about it, but you can ask anyway. I'll try to answer it to the best of my abilities, honestly. And you can ask about, I don't know, wildlife, traveling, the locations in South Africa, the internet, the games, the whatever. I don't really anything. Okay, you can think of something. I'm pretty sure you will. And I mean, you can just read the other comments that the other people are asking and sort of go from that. So that's the theme from next week: South Africa, the southern point of Africa. Or you can just ask about Africa in general. Not that I know much about the rest of it, but whatever. Okay, that's the topic. So let's head on over to the challenge, weekly challenge. It's going to be good. There were so many guesses this week, and it was actually very entertaining. I'm pretty happy with this week's turnout. A lot of comments, and I just wanted to say again, I don't reply to the comments on this on Lumin Weekly in the comment section. I don't type it out there. I'll try to reply to the comments in person on the episode next week. So if you're wondering why I don't reply to your comments there, now you know. Okay, so let's head on over to the weekly challenge, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be good. Here we go, time to look at last week's challenge and present you, the brave and fearless detectives, with a fresh new clue. Last week's challenge was indeed a tough one, and sadly no one managed to guess it. I think I need to work a little on the difficulty balance here, but hey, it's all good fun. So what was the game? You guys guessed a lot of different, quite varied stuff. GTA 4, Dead Space, Dead Rising, Counter-Strike, Quake 4, Crysis, Wolfenstein, Shadow Warrior, Borderlands, Left 4 Dead, Mafia 2, Half-Life 2, Gmod, Duke Nukem Forever, Heroes 3, Brink, Resident Evil, Fear, Just Cause 2, and Machinarium. The right answer was in fact LA Noire. There is indeed quite a lot of hype surrounding this game, and I personally can't wait to try it out when it finally releases. You can read a lot more about it below. The winner this week, because he or she was in fact randomly selected, is Divined. I've contacted said commenter about his or her prize, and well, I'm about ready to give you your next challenge. So let's check it out. Ah, what a tease. Yes, that's all you're getting, and I fear it may well be too much. If you know the answer, leave a comment telling me what the game is. As I said, this will always be uploaded sometime on Sunday, so everyone will know when to expect it, and everyone will have a fair chance. This week's prize is once again a StarCraft 2 themed sticker pack. Will I ever run out of them? Yes, I am getting dangerously close. Anyway, all that said, remember to leave your questions for next week's Q&A in the comments section too. The theme is South Africa, so I hope you all had a great weekend and an amazing Easter. Most importantly, happy detectivizing.